Hello and welcome to episode 10 of our Timberborn Update 7 Iron Teeth Project 1K playthrough here in Cycle 13, Day 5. About half a day left until we have a bad tide. And last episode, we expanded some industry stuff, we improved some storage, and I attempted to raise the height of this reservoir. Unfortunately, it did not get completed, and I deleted the dams in the process, which was a mistake, as you guys indicated. But we do still have a pretty good opportunity to be just fine during this upcoming bad tide, depending on how long it is, because we do have a very, very full storage of 3,600 water, not completely full with the capacity we currently have available, and we also have this large tank that is theoretically in the process of being constructed, all this other stuff notwithstanding. But today's goal is going to be to solve our science problems. Yes, numbercruncher stands. Your time has arrived. We will be constructing one this episode, and also taking care of a few improvements, really starting to make some good strides on storage again, and getting more and more of our stuff processing in an efficient and transformative manner. So, all that being said, we'll go ahead and get right on into it. They are still building these levees here. There's not really any reason to stop them from doing so, but this also doesn't need to be prioritized anymore. And because we're going to have a bad tide, this is going to be a good opportunity for us to go ahead and put in some water wheels in the bad tide channel. So, conveniently, since we are going to be making a number cruncher, we have to unlock it with the science, which we don't have yet. But if we think about, just kind of sticking it right around here, then that's going to make it very easy for us to put in some water wheels to power this thing. Remember, this does require 500 HP, and currently, these 3 wheels, well, I guess technically these 6 wheels are making about 850 to 900 HP, depending on flow, but that's also including this. So 3 wheels here most likely would only be supplying about 150-ish, but we can build more than 3. And remember, numbercruncher will run without being fully powered. It's just not going to make 10 science per hour. So the virtue of it being completely passive is good, yes. Even if we don't have full power, it is going to be making something, and it's going to take the beavers out of these inventor huts. But there's still stuff we have to do to get where we need to get, and that's just how it goes. So we're going to go ahead and get this on 3 times speed, let these guys go about what they are doing. And I suppose a couple of you suggested we should probably prioritize the construction of all of this well-being stuff to get our well-being up to an average of 17 or 18, which is going to give most of our beavers another lifespan boost. But it is bad tide time again. Everything is looking just fine. Plenty of water in reserve here, even if it is, 2/3 of a level lower than it was previously. It's only 12 days. We're going to be just fine. But in an attempt to try and get some more labor back, I am going to pause all but one of these pumps. I could pause all of them, but I know I'm going to forget to turn them back on. So having one of those guys is going to be the smart thing to do. And now all of these wheels are turning only with the bad water coming out of this bad water source. So what kind of power are we producing? Yikes. Only 220, 230. That's not going to be enough. Obviously, if you turn the engine on, that's why it's there, but that still isn't enough to run all of our stuff. So part of what we're going to have to do is streamline our industrial stuff, make it look a little bit nicer. This is a long-term thing, not going to happen right now necessarily. But I also see people making comments about stuff like, hey, why don't you just have this go way up, build a super tall thing, and then have a zigzag water channels where you can have a whole bunch of these power wheels, water wheels, whatever. Yes, that is a very good thing that we probably will end up doing, but not right now. Remember, we're on hard mode, on the smallest regular map in the game, with the goal of getting to 1,000 beavers. Like, we have to be methodical. It's going to be slow. But that doesn't mean it has to be glacially slow to the point of extreme frustration. That's not going to benefit anybody. So we can still make incremental improvements. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that hopefully a little bit more accessible. We do have enough wood right now, and we have more coming in. slowly as we keep going about our business, so we can steadily start improving things. And, 12-day bad tide, if we dedicated most of that time and most of those resources to constructing the rest of this previous levee expansion for the dam, then that would probably be maybe the best net positive for our storage capability. However, we already have more than enough to keep these beavers alive for like 2 or 3 cycles with the amount of beavers that we have. So I think it's okay to just kind of leave that at a normal priority. Get everything else taken care of. I do have these set up right here to be a priority, so that should be an improvement, and so on and so forth. Plenty still to get done, and I do think I want to start making moves toward making our number cruncher over here. So, based on the positioning of putting this guy right here, I can have 3 wheels put here, 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 and then I can have 3 more behind it, and that might give us a fighting chance of powering half of this thing. So if I put a water wheel here, 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 not there, so 6 of those things, that I think is going to give us a very good chance of having some sort of success. So I'm going to build these 3 first. We're going to have to put in power shafts to connect to the back here, but that's not an issue. Platforms here and here are going to allow them to build this, 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 and also this. And then we'll put this one in, and then I'll delete this, and then you know how it goes. But we have to get the beavers up there, so we are going to have a staircase. We'll just go ahead and have that set up like so. Should make that nice and accessible. And we have dynamite, and the dynamite factory is still on, but it has nowhere for it to go. So this can be paused. That'll give us a little bit of power back. Streamline our production a little bit. And I believe that is going to be a big improvement. I've got very full storage on the bad water, so we probably could and maybe should pause this pump. Remember, I'm trying to make science as well, so we have to have all the beavers get into these things, and it looks like half of them are populated. I did take a couple out. Some of you noticed that. But that was in service of expanding our storage here, which we are still continuing to work on. And we'll probably continue for basically the rest of time. So, you know how it goes. Gotta let these guys do what they're gonna do, and then that's basically all we can about that. So, put this back in triple speed mode, let them do what they're doing, and continue thinking about good ways to improve our stuff here. I also need to keep an eye on how many of these trees that we actually are going to have grow up in this this bad type here. Probably not too many. Okay, there's a few down here that might be good. So we will just have to wait on that, but that's okay. They're making some nice progress on our dam building anyway, and we now have all of this stuff. Every single one of these guys has a shrub, a roofing piece, and a brazier in range of their sleeping quarters. So that should be a pretty good benefit after a little while here. Average well-being is 15. Food situation is looking good as well. Obviously, we haven't started getting the mushrooms or the algae yet. I don't know if we will, just because of water usage concerns, but that's something we can maybe take a look at some point. Coffee should probably be something coming up soon, but I'm not going to invest materials and land to that yet. Campfires are hard because they have to be on actual ground, and we don't have a lot of that yet. We will start fixing that soon-ish. But aesthetics-wise, easy things to take care of would include lanterns. We also have the Torii gates and the lanterns in this playthrough as well. One of my favorite mods. And the cool thing about these guys is, with this mod with the lanterns, we have the option to do these paper lanterns that can just go on top of paths, as long as they're not taking up additional space that would otherwise be used for something. So, like, alright, well, maybe here's probably an okay spot to do it. But it gets the same buff for the lantern buff that this one does, but this takes up an entire tile. These don't. These indoor lanterns do the same thing. It can be placed basically everywhere. So I think it makes sense to just go ahead and do this. Just pop them in various locations, again, trying to be economical by using only when necessary here. If I could get this to actually show up. There we go. And you know the drill, I'll just pop this here so it's also in range of that guy. Just a real simple thing, and we also have these we can build here. This one again is from the demo version of Timberborn, which I always thought was kind of a fun little information nugget. And you know, I don't really have a lot of tremendously great places to pop this where it's also going to be in range of anything. But right here, if I were to put that right about there, a lot of the beavers are going to be coming through here in some way, shape, or form. So for right now, that is probably not a bad place to put it. It's not super expensive to build, and it will give a little bit of a bonus to a considerable quantity of the beavers. So that's going to get done. Do also see that these logs are being used very quickly, but we will be getting more of those in due time. That is totally okay. And I don't really want to deprioritize the levee construction because that is something we're going to need at some point, and it doesn't make sense just to abandon that because we want to do other stuff. I can... Oh, this is actually dead even now, so I should have beavers in all of these at some point. We don't have any more storage for scrap metal. We probably should. But I will go ahead and deprioritize the scavenger flag in case that beaver wants to go do something else. We're still smelting, which does consume logs, but we need to have metal blocks to be able to continue making everything else, including our beloved number cruncher. So, that is my promise to you. Today we will build one, even if it takes a very long time, probably toward the end of the episode, but that's what we're doing. It needs 100 gears. And gear storage is not something we have a lot of right now. In fact, it is completely full. So, with the limited resources I have access to at this time, I do think it is probably a smart idea to go ahead and build a dedicated medium warehouse just for gears. We don't necessarily want to fill it, but we do want to have it. We need to have somewhere for that to go. And, you know, people love to... theory craft about different ideas that we have, and I do appreciate that. One of the things that they mentioned, and I had been thinking about as well, is utilize space over the water whenever possible, and we have space right here. Just go ahead and take a lot of the planks that we've been using and make ourselves a 3x2 platform. Put that right there, and I'm going to make this gear storage, which means I will be able to reclaim this little one as something else, should we feel so inclined. But most of the logs have already kind of been claimed. This large tank construction, I'm going to pause so we don't accidentally use the gears for that. Currently, we're looking very, very good on all of that. 7%. Some of these were at like 80-something percent. 94, 91, 93. Okay, we're going to be fine. Let's just put this back on triple speed. Well-being averages up to 17. We click on a random beaver. Well-being of 16. They will get that plus 40. Marginal plus 20 at 17. What's this one? 17. Yeah, see, that's what we want to see. We want them to live longer so the population will increase slowly. So we don't have to keep making more of these pods. Because if you have a lot of pods and then the well-being skyrockets, well, now you have so many beavers that live forever and you keep pumping out at the same rate and you got too many beavers. So that's good to see. That is the desired effect. And especially once we have these indoor lanterns get made. We don't have enough logs quite yet for that. They are being used to make water wheels and dams and all sorts of other very necessary but not necessarily exciting things. We're going to be alright though. Just going to have to wait a little bit longer to get all that stuff taken care of. Otherwise, in the notes on this episode, a couple other ideas you guys had for stacking, farming, and different things like that, which we will discuss in greater detail when the time comes for those. But I am reading all of them, trying to keep a pulse on what you guys want to see, what you think might work best. And we're going to do our best to incorporate the options that I think are going to make it possible for us to have the fastest and most complete success toward 1,000 beavers. So if your idea doesn't end up getting used, it's not me trying to slight you or whatever. I have to pick one. That means one of the ideas is going to win and the rest of them are either not going to be used or going to be maybe partially incorporated. But we do have trees coming in now again, and things are starting to look quite good. We do have logs in here that they, you know, haven't been able to access until very, very recently. And this, wow, this wheel by itself is making 45 HP, so maybe we stand a chance at actually powering this thing fully. All of these together are making 233 because the engine does not have enough logs to run. Be alright, though. Be just fine. Have they started? Oh, good. They did make the lanterns, so we should see a benefit. Well, eventually. No, they didn't make the lanterns. The thing lied to me again. So I had it clicked to look, oh, that looks like it's lit up. It's not lit up. It's not lit up. The game has fooled me. But I digress. Probably going to be a while before this medium warehouse is done. But that does mean I can pause this gear workshop so that we're not wasting beaver labor. Let's see. I mean, food-wise, everything's looking just fine. We have so many planks, I think I can safely pause 2 of the lumber mills, which will stop our consumption being quite so fast. In fact, we have 332 planks. I'm just going to pause all of them. Looks like we need to start making some more corn rations again. We've stopped having those available, and that has probably lowered our well-being just a touch. Okay, maybe like a fraction of a point. Yeah, see, now we got those lanterns. It's only a +1, but that makes a big difference, I say, as the well-being average continues to fall. Well, in a perfect world, it makes a big difference. So these 3 together are managing to make 117. That's not too shabby. I'm not going to build any more of these quite yet, because we can't even unlock the numbercruncher yet anyway. But very, very happy with the progress being made there. Obviously, hey, now it says 19. Good. Now these beavers should start living a lot longer. I do have 15 logs here. We will continue to make this expanded here, but I do think it's probably a little bit more important to focus on getting science and getting some of this other stuff taken care of, so we can do our best with what we have. That's always what we try to do. All right. So these guys, the mangrove trees, have been slowly creeping this way over time. The Gather Flag is harvesting almost all the mangrove fruits, and ideally this will continue going all the way across here. Obviously, we don't need to have this down here. We can get rid of those. I will have to plant mangrove trees on this side with a forester. So, you know, there's no better time than the present, they say. Let's find a place to put a forester and then immediately remove it. I got a lot of logs now. Okay. Can't obviously plant it in the water. I guess probably the thing that's going to make this easiest would be to just move the pathway a tiny bit. Pop this in here. Remember, I only have to plant a few of these. We're not cutting these down for wood. So I'm just going to go with whatever this can reach, and then the rest can grow in. This can also end up planting all of these slots as well. Then we won't have to worry about anything spreading, but I do have to have these in place first. Alright, so now I got enough logs. I feel like I can pretty safely go ahead and start the process of fixing that. And then I can put all of these levees in place, and then the dams on top, and that is the original expansion I was trying to do so long ago. And this is probably going to be more than enough for the next little while, and instead of building up, we can focus on using the dynamite that we have to expand downward. Now remember, this is at height 2. We're trying to get down to height 0, but there's no point in having the reservoir be that low because it doesn't have a way to escape yet. Everything in due time, folks, but we can, since this space is already dedicated to, you know, storage via reservoir, we do have the ability to go ahead and just get the beavers down in here to blast as much of this out as we can. I don't really have a great way to make that happen without just kind of snaking things around, so, you know, it's not going to be super efficient, but it will get done. It will get done. And we'll get all this in, you know, bits and pieces as best as we can. That should be basically all of the dynamite I have anyway. And then, you know the drill. Said it enough times. This needs to be unplanted so they can go all the way out there. In fact, all of these can be unplanted because we don't need to be planting these. We're not cutting them. So now this, I don't want to take up any of this space as tree growing because, well, it's mostly contaminated anyway. For the time being, yes, I do want to eventually put in irrigation barriers, but we don't have the treated planks, and it's probably going to be a little while before we can justify getting to those. So, get rid of that. Now I have, somehow, 8 unemployed beavers, because I've had all these things paused for so long. We have 1,000 science. At our current rate, remember, these can make 1 science per hour at a maximum of 18 hours per day. So it's still going to be a couple more days, several more days, maybe half of a cycle or so before we have 1,500. But we're on the way there. I kind of don't want to make any more inventors right now because they're all going to go away anyhow. So instead, let's focus that energy toward trying to improve the rest of our production stuff down here. Now that I actually have enough logs to turn this back on, turn that gear workshop back on. We have the storage. This I'm going to reassign to be... I guess it probably isn't a bad idea to have a canola seed storage over here, closer to the oil press, which we can also go ahead and turn back on. We have a little bit more headroom to turn on one more of these buildings, I think, if it is taking up a comparatively small amount of power. So, fermenter it is, fermented cassava, fermented soybeans, all on the menu. I do see that we don't have any cassavas fermented, so I want to make sure we're keeping up with that. Eventually, everything's going to have a building that's going to be on all the time. But while we're still in the quote-unquote small stage, got to do what we got. Alright, so this is about probably as good as we're going to get in terms of power supply versus demand utilization. Corn rations are looking pretty good. We still have enough eggplant rations to keep this on corn for the time being. And now I can continue putting in more of these water wheels. Oh, wrong button. They are almost finished here. That is very good to see. Obviously, the stairs are going to be what the stairs are going to be in the time that they choose to be that. So, confused? Me too. It's gonna be all right though. These, I feel like there should be another tree here, but no, they just have a gap. All right, that's fine. We'll just leave those as they are. Let them come in and do this. I guess I can put this back on triple speed. It's probably fine. Now, why does this say it's not accessible pathwise? Did I, oh, okay. Well, I'm glad I got that taken care of. That is storage for the mango fruits that we don't have extras of anyway. Now we have a little bit more storage. I can build a couple more of these guys here, but, you know, we're not full up on anything yet, so I don't think that is a worthwhile issue at this time. Scrap metal, we still have enough. Not really that worried about it. That just got finished. Very good. They're going to be putting in all of this. Maybe that doesn't need to be the biggest priority, but that's also fine. We want to make sure our capacity is as big as we can get it. How many medical beds do I have, and are they full? Got 200 beavers. I know I have that one there. I can't remember if I've got any others. So let's... No, I only have one. Okay, well that's going to be a good thing for us to build maybe a few more of. Yeah, okay, this isn't like the best place for that, but I might as well go ahead. I'm not growing any trees here anyway. I did want to keep that open so I could start doing more storage buildings possibly. But 2 more of those will help. Definitely will. Yeah, see, these guys are going to have to be detonated before too long, so they can actually access everything. Only so many builder beavers after all. In fact, I've got more unemployed beavers. And we're about to have more power because this is going to... Oh, why is this not prioritized by haulers? That's a little bit of a faux pas there. Oh, stuff is looking good, folks. I guess I can turn this bad water pump back on. Power consumption... Actually, no. This one needs to be paused because I don't have any more space to store stuff. Centrifuge is going to take up 2 workers, but it also takes up power I'm not generating. Yeah, I guess this is about as good as we're going to get, to be perfectly honest with you. Alright. I will turn on the pumps again, because, again, we have a day and a half, and there's still plenty in here. Time for beaver boom. B for boom. B for beaver boom. Now, see, isn't that nice? Isn't that easy? And I think, yeah, I'm going to have to make more of that. Need some more explosive storage, but we will get there eventually. This is already starting to look pretty good here. Just get another reminder of where I need to run those. Okay, so thanks to the modularity of the power shafts in the most recent version of Update 7, which we are playing, well, on the regular branch, not experimental, these will just conform automatically to the number cruncher once it is built. This is not the perfect place forever for the number cruncher, yes, but it is where it will go now. Well, once we have all of the science. We almost have 100 gears, which is what we need to build that. And the planks we've had forever, the metal we've had for quite a long time. So now all we have to do is get that science up to 1500, do that research, build that thing, and then we're going to get another 4 jobs back from removing these. Or at the very least, we can leave them in place on a low priority so we can occupy additional beavers, but we can more or less ignore these forever at this point, once this is constructed. Yeah, 100 more to go, 95 technically. But now I'm going to, well, I'm not going to take them out of the inventor huts yet, but I can turn that on. Do I have enough? No, I need to build the number cruncher first before I unpause this and soak up all the gears, but once the number cruncher is built, that will definitely be taken care of. Alright, so here we go with the nice clean water coming in, getting this filled up. I've got a little bit more beaver booming. There we go. We have, I guess, technically 1 explosive left, so we will be taking care of this in due time once we're making enough power. I do want to connect all of these. Why is this one not turning? That's interesting. Is it because I put it on a platform and it doesn't actually touch? I guess so. Okay, well, it is what it is. This is making 117. These are making 56. You know, it's not much, but it's probably fine. How close were you? 1477? Alright, and this is already basically full. That is very good to see. This will come through. I'm trying to avoid, you know, flooding. It may or may not be avoidable, but we'll see what happens. How do we still have exhausted beavers? You could go have a nap. Go have a nap. It's fine. 1492. Columbus sailed the ocean blue. 96. Show me that 1500. Let's go. 1499. Come on. Show me that 1.5. I guess it's not going to happen while they're supposed to be sleeping, but soon. Very, very soon, friends. Your number cruncher obsession will be justified. Alright, who's going to be the first one to get up here? Alright, are we in a race? Who's in front? Well, these aren't named after beard boosters anymore because I still haven't figured out how to fix the naming list without doing some sort of insane nonsense, but let's just pretend that's one of you. And oh, come on. There we go. Alright. Number cruncher unlocked. Placed. Now it can be constructed. Please and thank you, builder beavers. Take care of that expeditiously. And now we are making enough power to actually turn on all of this other stuff. I'm going to turn on the centrifuge. I'm going to turn on the deep bad water pump. And we definitely need to get more dynamite going as well. So that will start eating up some of these beavers in these things. But it's going to be fine. Everything is looking very good. Very, very happy with how things are progressing here. Food-wise, yeah, we're going to have to build more food factories soon. But we have... Wow, do we have full storage of logs? We do. We're going to need to build more log storage. Definitely need to build more log storage. See, this is going to be flooded all the time. This is poison land that's unbuildable. Well, not unbuildable, uncroppable. I'll just keep inventing new terms that aren't real. I don't actually have access here, but I can put in a staircase. That's probably fine. This is probably okay. I'm just going to stack those two there. Log storage, log storage. Ladders will be unlocked eventually, but I kind of do want to prove to the people that don't want me to do ladders that I can actually play without them, at least for a little bit. But functionally, we will need them for some part of the playthrough here. We also have the tiny two-way station, which I guess is a de facto ladder, but we haven't unlocked all that stuff yet. So they'll keep working on that. This is priority numero uno, and it looks like things are already progressing quite nicely for this. We'll let them get that finished there. I really should have done something about this, but hey, what are you going to do? All right, cool, cool, cool. Let's unpause the large tank, make sure that says water. Want to get this as filled up as we can. Things looking good, looking very good. How much is this actually making? Okay, you know, 35% of output, but it's still making science with no beaver labor. So this, as a reminder, can go to 4. It's currently at 2. It can go to 4 before we're actually pulling somebody out of a building. And we're still generating excess power, so I can either pause the engine, which we have enough logs right now, I'm not really worried about that, or I can start making more stuff, which is probably the correct thing to do. I'm going to turn on both of these gear workshops so that we can, you know, continue amassing large quantities of gears. Everything else that is on will remain on. And yeah, it looks like we're in a pretty good spot here. Cool, cool, cool. This is getting there. Now we have extra log storage. We can pull all these trees out of the ground. We need to keep planting more, but I kind of don't have a lot of space yet to do that. Maybe end up relocating the barracks somewhere else. We also have a homeless beaver right now, so I guess... don't really have a lot of tremendously good spots to put one of these, unless I want to unlock the row houses, which are a lot more flexible in terms of locations you can put them. Technically not really any more dense in the grand scheme of things, unless you stack a ton of them on top of each other, not take up any more actual tiles, but I can't justify the science expense. Well, one, we don't have it, but we have so many other things we're going to want to unlock. Remember, we talked about having the bad water discharge, and we talked about doing some other stuff as well, like, for example, the dirt excavator, which, conveniently, I guess a good segue to this, requires the treated planks. Treated planks, of course, come from the wood workshop, which requires pine resin, which we're not currently harvesting, but I've been saving these pines here for just such an occasion, and I think it is probably time to stop cutting down the pine trees so that we can start getting some of that stuff. So this space right here currently has a tooth grindstone. It is no longer going to have a tooth grindstone. Instead, in that space, I'm going to place one of these things that will give some minor benefits to beavers. And then I'm going to, as soon as I have the science, which is, it's going to be a little bit of time, but I'm going to put a tapper shack so we can get the pine resin. This is still a pretty decent spot for that. Once we have enough pine resin, which won't take very long, we can get a wood workshop. But remember, unlocking those things is 1,300 science and will require some more power. We are making some good strides toward improving that as well, so that should be a-okay. This... oh, I did not... oh, they haven't finished that. Okay, well, why not? I guess they're busy doing other stuff. That's fine. Alright, so that's finished. Now I have 7 vacancies. 2 incapacitated beavers because they're injured, but we do have medical beds. In fact, we have 1 extra currently, so that is fine. That is not a cause for concern. Hopefully we can make gears a little bit faster now that I've got 3 of these things. That's 1 gear per hour, if my mental math is correct. We have enough metal blocks. Metal is being used for other stuff, though, so probably want to keep an eye on that. I've got 11 explosives. Remember, we do want to keep chugging along with all of that. So that's 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. They can't put all of these in all at once. Actually, you know, they can because they can just walk up here. So that'll keep them occupied for a little while. Trying to keep this as full as we can and expand when possible without using more wood. But now, yeah, see, we need to be generating more power from this, and we will eventually, but now this is, again, the set it and forget it kind of thing here. Now we've got all these trees coming up. We can pull the logs out. We've got some more storage. Not a ton more. We got some more storage. That's looking pretty good. Still have plenty of scrap metal. I did deprioritize this, so nobody's technically working here, but I guess they could go in if they felt so inclined. Alright, eggplant stocks are getting a little low, and our eggplant storage is not full, so I'm not super worried about that, but we do want to turn these back on, trying to keep the nutrition bonuses all active. Mangrove fruits, again, they're going to take time, but they're looking better than they ever have, and this is going to be great once these are all grown. I almost said built. That's not how that works. Not at all. Alright, so what is going to be our strategy next? Because obviously it's only day 4, but remember this is hard mode. Morning of day 5, we very likely will get a drought or a bad tide warning. No, okay, so we're going to get the full length temperate cycle. Let's go back down to single speed. That means day 6, we'll have day 6, 7, and 8, which on hard mode is the maximum. So we have an opportunity. We have a lot of logs. We have an opportunity to expand this if we felt that was going to be a smart move. I don't think currently it is, with technically 4 days, just because it takes so much time to build these things the way that we are currently building them without having access to all of the bridges and all that stuff. I think the next expansion I want to make for the reservoir is going to be multiple blocks at a time using the correct quote-unquote preferred method of the big suspension bridges from above, and then so on and so forth, so they can build multiple blocks at once. Constructing scaffolding is not really a very good use of materials, but this is also a perfectly fine size for what we have right now. We can B for boom all of this, and we are, of course, still making additional explosives, so honestly, we can pretty reliably just keep this at whatever we want to keep it at, and then just set these off as time warrants. We don't have to really pay too much attention to anything else. I know if we had the science to get the double and the triple dynamite and so on and so forth, that would be a very good thing for us to do. But we have other things we're trying to get to. We've already talked about that. Just giving them some options for things to take care of later. Probably to use all of this wood in service of anything that is not expanding storage for food or water would be a mistake at this point. So, let's briefly recap our food storage here. We have raw corn rations, we have raw eggplant, we have eggplant rations, we have raw cassavas, we have fermented cassavas, we have whatever these things are, soybeans, we have some fermented soybean storage. Not really a tremendous amount, but that can be the next thing we build. Can be a large warehouse. Remember, we have tons of planks, and we do have the logs. Large warehouse for fermented soybeans, which will allow us to turn these medium warehouses into storage for, say, dynamite or gears or something else, because we only have the storage for the small amount of dynamite, the 30. But I'm not going to obviously get rid of that quite yet. But to continue off of what we're looking at here, we have, for every food type we are currently producing, with the exception of kohlrabies, we have a full 1200 storage. And we also have a 1200 storage of the canola seeds. We have a 300 storage of the canola oil. So I think, you know, things are looking just fine. I'm not worried about the mangrove fruits because we're never going to be able to produce those in large enough numbers as it stands to need a 1200 storage. If we had an entire 50 by 50 whatever mangrove tree farm, then yeah, absolutely. But those grow so slowly that I don't think it's going to be a viable food option for 1,000 beavers. So that takes care of food stuff, at least for right now, unless there's something else I have missed, which is entirely possible. But there are other things we're going to need to store eventually as well. We're just not making them yet, of course. Like all the other... I forgot what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about. we have opportunities to keep making things better here. We do need more beaver storage at some point, probably soon. Need to think about moving these guys, because this is, this is irrigated land here. We could be planting trees. But I just need slightly better spots to do this with. But, like I said, 500 science is going to get us the Tapper Shack, which is going to allow us to harvest these pine trees, which, as a reminder, are no longer being cut. These are being used for harvesting. The Iron Teeth do not have maples, so we don't need to harvest the maple syrup. And the only other harvestable tree they have, the mangrove, is taken care of by the Gatherer's Flex. So the Tapper Shack is literally only for pines. We can, if we want to find a spot to put coffee bushes, probably would be a smart choice here. This is out of range of the forester. But if we were to put another forester in, this would not be a bad place to have coffee bushes. But that's another one of those buildings that we would have to, build and keep up with, so on and so forth. I guess this large tank was not quite completed. We'll take care of that. That'll give them more storage space. It should put that at about 5,500, just shy of that, which they could very easily fill. I think probably to do too much more, we're going to have to get past our 50 beavers population currently. Okay, so we're going to have a drought instead of a bad tide. That is not stellar news for us, considering that the science production currently is dependent on this bad water source. But there's not really anything we can do about it. The bad water discharge is 4,000 science to unlock, and we don't have the materials for it anyway. So that is going to mean we need to build another one of these engines. And I don't really have a tremendously good place to put it that's not going to be dumb. I don't want to build more than one or two of these. But I feel like, for right now, this is probably about the best place we could put this. I committed a crime against Skyrim and her people. This was supposed to be flipped the other way. I was wondering why I had a metal block thing right there. This needs to be flipped the other way so I can have a power shaft coming around the corner here. So that, I guess, would be a kind of easy thing for us to take care of. How is this still not finished yet? Oh, I have it deprioritized. Alright, well, no, I deserve that one. Just get that thing finished. Let's go. They're pumping this water. It has to have somewhere to go. They're just about full. Oh. Okay, hold on. Let's press pause. Drought means no bad water, and we're currently using bad water to make two things. Extract and also explosives. We're not using extract right now, so I will go ahead and pause the centrifuge. That'll also get us some of our jobs back, but this bad water is going to go away, and we need to be able to have more of it. So I think what is going to be a smart thing for us to do is build a second bad water pump. Obviously, it's probably not going to be finished in time to do more than like a day or half a day worth of stuff. But every little bit counts, especially when we need to keep blasting things out here. Already doing some good work there. So that is now going to be the top priority. Get this constructed, hopefully, before too long. Alright, come on, folks. I know you can get this done before the end of this workday. Let them get a nice head start on that. Yes, I didn't even take a look at the production statistics. Yeah, so every hour this one will produce 3, in theory. Don't tell me we're out of metal blocks. Where are my metal blocks go? Oh, I know. I know where the metal blocks are going. Or where they're supposed to be going. And that's done. So why are they, where are they going? They're not going here. They're being produced. I didn't use that many of them. They're not going into this. So if I hit pause on that construction... Well, I already missed my window on getting this completed before the last day anyway. Well, it was a valiant effort. I need this to be full. I need that to be full. And I don't think I'm going to get there, but it is what it is. 2 hours to make a single... See, I need to have more of all of this. I just do not have the space yet. We will get there. We will get there. Rest assured. It's just that this is a very, very slow process. Okay. Now it has 3. Very soon. There it goes. There it goes. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So we'll get, you know, half a day's worth of work out of it. I guess I can have them start this again. The way this is laid out, I am going to need to move this here. And eventually I am going to have to run a power thing up here so we can connect to the numbercruncher if we want to keep running it, and also to share power across all of this. But that is going to be something that will just take some time, and we will have to, you know, get around not having that for the duration of the drought. But another thing it means, if we have a drought, that means there's no bad water, which means we can send beavers into the river, and I can take this platform out without removing the water wheel, and I can put in a levee here, which will force the water to flow through this, which will mean we'll get that much more power out of this. And that's big. That's going to make a huge difference. For the time being, though, there's not really much else we can do except unpause the rest of these water pumps that, yeah, we maybe should have done earlier anyway, and just get a move on with everything else. So yeah, 9 vacancies, you know, take these 4 out, minus this as well. There's 4 that aren't being worked, and I don't know which jobs those are. I probably should know, but okay. Oh, the farmhouse that's paused, obviously. Fluid dump that's paused. All these buildings that are... Okay, so it is all the inventors, and it's 2 of the lumberjack flags, and 1 of the scavenger flags. Alright, well, you know, that checks out. That's fine. We're not in imminent danger of anything in terms of running out of food, but I do need to go ahead and turn on the eggplant rations again so we can get that back in order to keep our population somewhat thriving, if at all possible. But it's very good to see that the trees are finally matured, and we have all of these guys actually making pine resin. It hasn't appeared yet. Well, half of these. And I have 555 science, which could be used to unlock the tapper shack right now, or depending on what route we want to take, I could also use it to start unlocking some bridges here. But I think it is going to be better in the long run for us to have the tapper shack so that we can get the pine resin, so that we can get the treated planks, so we can start making the irrigation barriers. That's going to really help make this land arable and keep most of this arable. We'll get there. We will certainly get there. But all that being said, I do think it is probably smart to go ahead and unlock that tapper shack. And we will get this popped in. I will flip that right there. And that's going to work out quite nicely. We can have a little storage here for pine resin. Just a small one. Should be totally fine. And there you go. Alright, so it's after the end of the workday. They're all done anyhow. But now, since this is a drought, and I should have done this earlier, I should have set this to close above the downstream depth of whatever, but I didn't have time to figure that out. So just know I do read the comments. I do see you guys saying, hey, you can do this, and it'll retain a little bit of water up here to keep this irrigated. So the best I can do right now is to just manually close this, let this fill up a little bit so this is still irrigated for at least part of the drought, and maybe we'll get other stuff figured out later. This is actually maybe even going to overflow a little bit. How exciting. How exciting. Yeah, so I will reopen that. I know every time I mess with this stuff, it just causes people to scream and break their keyboards in half and punch holes in drywall. Buy cans of Monster at the mini-mart, whatever. But yeah. Oh, and just like that. Look. Alright. Forget it. Forget it. Never mind. Wasn't even worth trying to figure out. But the general sentiment expressed by people that wanted me to do that. So apologies to all of you for that incredible waste of 2 minutes of time in a video. Was just set this to close above the downstream depth of whatever height this is, which would fill this up and either direct it off of sluices on top of these or just redirect it somewhere else. But it doesn't matter anymore. So we'll just leave that alone. Pretend I never said anything. And that is the way that it is. But now we have a tremendous amount of storage available. Almost 5,500 water, which is, if you're keeping track at home, not even 10% of our final goal. But we're getting there. We're getting there. We have 50 beavers, which is 1/20th of our goal. I don't know why I paused there. So that's, I guess, to be celebrated. We're outpacing our water needs massively, which is, to be perfectly clear, the only way this channel is going to be possible. Challenge, not channel. I guess maybe my channel depends on this. Who knows? I don't know. I play beavers every day. It's probably corrupting my brain, and I probably need to take time off, but I don't want to do that quite yet. We have other stuff to take care of. The main problem now is we are not making nearly enough power, so this needs to be finished, but I don't have metal blocks. And I don't have metal blocks because I don't have power for the metal blocks. So everything else, gear production is going to be paused. Explosives production is going to be paused. Now this is a much closer amount of supply that we can actually use to take care of our demand. But the smelter is very clearly what is holding us back here. I have to have another 10 metal blocks. I have 1 here. And, you know, just going to take time. So get this on triple speed. We're not going to get all the way through this entire drought in today's video, because I do probably need to end this sometime reasonably soon. But I am very happy to report that this is a lot fuller than I thought it would be. I did not detonate all of this dynamite because I forgot, but it's fine. I'm not going to set it off quite yet. We'll just let them do what they need to be doing. And I guess, you know, probably a good time to just go ahead and say we'll pick this back up next time, so we don't have to stretch things out too much. So what did we accomplish today? Number 1, most importantly, we built the number cruncher. Number 2, we finished getting this dam expansion up and running, and we, in service of that, have acquired a lot more storage for water. Like another 25% worth or whatever, because that's how percentages work, right? We built some more storage for food that we can't really fill yet, and we have more storage for wood. The oak trees are a little bit better spread out in terms of harvesting periods now, and we have a tapper shack, and we have pine trees that in the next couple of days, maybe the next 4 days or so, will start getting us some pine resin, which can be accumulated, and then later on put into a wood workshop. Then we can use that to make the planks, and then we can use those to put in things here that will keep this growable, and later on up here as well, so we can do some more irrigation in a correct way, not with one of these. So yeah, that is, friends, where I'm going to leave it for today. I really appreciate you guys watching these videos, giving me some helpful comments and feedback that is deserved. So again, just very thankful for you. Beard Boosters also, you see the names on the screen, directly subsidizing the channel, subsidizing me as an individual, making it possible to keep doing all this stuff every single day. So, you make it happen. Cannot do it without your support, and I'm very thankful we get to do this without sponsors and without doing, you know, clickbait garbage, just playing games an hour at a time. Sometimes stupid stuff happens, but that's just the way it goes. But, you know, positivity is good, consistency is good, and community is good. And thank you, Facebook sound notification. I forgot I had not turned off. But I digress. That's all we got for today. Whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you back very soon for more beaver fun. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.